Hey guys, Stay Patient here. Yes, the beard's gone, but it is still me, don't worry. And today, we're back with part 3 of the easiest and fastest PS4 Platinums that you've probably never played. Of course, this particular series of top 10 videos focuses on some of those lesser known titles that vary greatly in quality. Some are hidden gems, others are just outright painful to play, as many of you have discovered. But they all have one key thing in common, and that's a super easy, super fast Platinum trophy set. Now if you haven't checked out part 1 and 2 of this series yet, I suggest you do so by clicking the link to my right or the exclamation mark at the top of the screen there. That will take you to the playlist that's going to contain all of my trophy related top 10s, but for now we've got a brand new list for you, so let's dive straight into it. The majority of the easiest Platinums on PS3 were Disney movie tie-ins. Those games have practically ceased to exist on PS4, probably due to the mid-tier developers falling away over recent years, but we do have Snoopy's Grand Adventure. This is a 2D platformer obviously based on the Peanuts franchise, and although it's not terrible, it does get tedious because you need to hunt down every collectible in the game, and you can't do so until you've unlocked all the costumes, giving you access to otherwise blocked off areas. So you end up having to play the game through twice, which isn't actually too bad due to the entire Platinum only taking around 8 hours. It received a retail release which was holding its value for a while, but is now starting to sell for cheaper if you shop around, plus it's currently on sale on the UK store for £11.99. Yes, it's fair to say that the Order 1886 doesn't quite fit in with the games you've never played theme, unless of course you wisely avoided it due to how bad it ended up being, but almost everyone is at least aware of this once highly anticipated title. It certainly doesn't deserve a place in my upcoming most enjoyable Easy Platinum series though, so I thought I'd cheekily slip it in here. It is after all possibly the easiest and fastest AAA Platinum on PS4. The prices on the PSN store aren't too bad right now, especially in the UK where it's on sale for £13.99 if you have a PS Plus membership. I would recommend a retail purchase however, so you can sell it on afterward because you'll finish the Platinum in 6 to 8 hours after having spent a lot of that time watching boring cutscenes, and I doubt you'll ever want to play it again. The fact that it looks unbelievable graphically isn't enough to provide any replay value. Nightmares from the Deep: The Cursed Heart is a hidden object adventure game where you spend your time searching screens for items amidst a story that's basically a mashup of the Pirates of the Caribbean and Night at the Museum. Of course, as with many of the Easy Platinums, using a guide helps make this a quick trophy set, so check the description for some links that will assist you in finishing it off in around 6 hours, along with similar links for all the other games in this list of course. It's also a fairly cheap Platinum, currently sitting at £7.99 and $9.99. Grand Prix Rock and Racing is one of the most recent titles on this list. It's a, sad to say, poorly executed Formula 1 themed top-down racing game with similarities to the old Micro Machines games and the more recent MotorStorm RC. If only it lived up to the standard of those other titles. It may be a bad game, but it does have a relatively straightforward Platinum, which is of course what we're here for, and it can be banged out in less than 5 hours. Its main attraction for trophy hunters is the price. As one of the cheaper games on this list, you can grab it for £6.49 or $7.99. Root Letter is the first Japanese game that's made its way onto one of these top 10s because it's among the few to receive an official release here in the UK and in America. Not only does that mean that we can more easily access this very interesting looking interactive novel, but that we can also understand it when we do. Amazingly, the game now has 10 stacking trophy lists due to it being available on PS4 and Vita, and 5 of the regions it's available in having separate trophy sets for each platform. The game itself is as easy as you'd imagine an interactive novel to be, especially if you follow the guide in the description that will enable you to finish the PS4 version in around 4 hours. The downside is that it's quite expensive however you buy it at the moment, so keep your eye out on eBay and some of the cheaper retail outlets for an eventual better price. Murdered Sole Suspect was a 2014 release that you're probably more familiar with than the majority of games on this list. I felt it deserved a mention though due to being quick and easy as well as cheap to purchase on disc, allowing you to sell it on or rent it. It's an interesting premise that sees you having to solve your own murder, and if you decide to skip cutscenes and dialogue as well as follow a collectible guide via the links in the description, then the Platinum can potentially be finished in as little as 3 hours. Even if you really take your time though, it will still be less than 10 hours, so why not try and enjoy it? The PS3 version has a separate stacking trophy list too, meaning you can fly through it a second time for that double platinum if you wish. It's fairly reasonable on the store at the moment. The PS4 version is £15.99 and $19.99, but you can find it cheaper retail. For instance, simplygames.com in the UK currently have it for £12.85. Monster Jam is a crazy over-the-top monster truck series that's been going since the PS2 era, and this very recent installment, Monster Jam Crush It, has the easiest platinum of the lot. As strange as it sounds, they seem to have taken inspiration from the Tony Hawk games, with letters to collect in each level and huge trucks that can somehow pull off all sorts of crazy tricks and flips. It looks to be a bit of a laugh if you're going with the right frame of mind and don't take it too seriously though, and even if you hate it, you'll be done with the extremely easy trophies within 2 or 3 hours. It's quite pricey everywhere at the moment unfortunately, although for some reason it's considerably cheaper on the US store at $19.99. It's also available on disc, but either way I'd wait for a sale, be it digital or retail, or better yet rent a copy if you have the means to do so. There are currently 4 titles in the arcade game series, and amazingly, despite only being small downloadable offerings, they all have their own platinum. Every one of them can be polished off in an hour or two depending on skill, because although they're all considered easy platinums, the difficulty does vary from one to another. Abuse the save features as instructed in the guides linked below though, and you should be fine getting through all 4. Ms. Pac-Man is probably the easiest of the bunch and can be picked up for just £3.29 or $3.99. And if you thought that was a bargain, you can pick up a bundle containing all the other 3, Pac-Man, Galaga and Dig Dug, for just £6.49 or $7.99. In second place we have one of the darkest and bleakest games you'll ever play. Dead Synchronicity Tomorrow Comes Today is a point-and-click adventure game set in a concentration camp, and it covers some very mature and disturbing themes. When it comes to trophies though, it's another game that can be flown through with the use of a step-by-step walkthrough such as the one I've linked in the description. On that note, I'd like to thank everyone who was involved in putting together the guides and other helpful resources that I've included this time around. Using the aforementioned guide, I was able to polish off this platinum in just under an hour. It's currently sat at £15.99 and $19.99, so you may decide to wait for a sale on this one, but either way it's among the easiest and fastest on PS4. That brings us to potentially the easiest, fastest, and cheapest platinum to ever grace a PlayStation console. My Name Is Mayo was released just a couple of days ago on the US store for a price of just 99 cents, and its platinum involves tapping a mayonnaise jar 10,000 times, and that's about it. Keep mashing the X button and switching outfits which are unlocked by earning trophies, and you'll have this unbelievably simple platinum unlocked in just over half an hour. And if you thought it couldn't get any better, it's also cross-buy, and the PS4 and Vita versions both have separate trophy lists. Unfortunately, it is only out in America at the moment, so fingers crossed for a European launch which is hopefully just around the corner. But it's easy enough to open a US account if you simply can't wait for this ridiculously easy and fast platinum. There we go guys, 10 more super easy and quick platinums for you to get your teeth stuck into. In fact, it's more than 10 if you take into account all those Pac-Man related games. There's actually one more that I wanted to mention today and give a shout out to. That's Everybody's Gone to the Rapture. Now this is an easy platinum. The only reason it hasn't shown up in these particular top 10 videos is because it takes a bit longer than the games we've been focusing on. It's around 10 to 15 hours completion time. But it is currently free on PlayStation Plus. It's November 2016 at the time I'm making this video, and we have Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, as well as Deadly Tower of Monsters, which featured during part 2 of this series. Both of those games are nice easy platinums, so make sure to add them free of charge to your collection. And that's actually inspired me to do a brand new top 10, looking at the easiest platinums from games that have been free on PlayStation Plus at some point or another. So keep your eye out for that, as well as the series that I've been promising for a while now, looking at the most enjoyable easy platinums. So as always guys, thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and let us know in the comments below if you've tried any of these games and what you thought. Thanks very much for your support guys. I'll see you all in the next video.